You guys are listening to the Jordan Garber Now podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jordan Garber Now, and wow, do we have a stacked episode. This is harder times, and we have interviews to get you through those hard times indeed. We have Jack Phoenix, a Northern Wrestling Federation exclusive interview, as well our main event interview of the evening, the return of former Ring of Honor star Prince NANA on the Jordan Garber Now podcast. As well, we go through some news with Martez Ale, and we talk about Steve Barber and the Armchair Booking podcast, as well another Northern Wrestling Federation exclusive interview with none other than Sean Evans. We also have an interview with Ken Dixon on the show, and as well the Weasel, Lou E. Dangerously, on the show as well. All of that and more to come on the Jordan Garber Now podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. Are you guys always worried about what could possibly go wrong? Well, there's no need to worry about that anymore with Mogo, free identity fraud protection. Download the app right now at mogo.ca. It doesn't just provide identity fraud protection, you can also check your credit score, finances, and make goals. Download the app and get protected today at mogo.ca. Alright, we're going to kick things off Northern Wrestling Federation style. 2 interviews coming up next with Jack Phoenix and Sean Evans. I'm going to play them back to back. So coming up next is none other than Sean Evans on the Jordan Garber Now podcast. And then after that, we'll go right to Jack Phoenix coming up. Are you that wrestling fan looking for that perfect television package to meet your needs? Well, Real Aid Media has the perfect option for you. With the Wrestling Box promo, you pay for the box for $199.95. After that, you're only paying $29.95 per month with no contracts and no obligations. Real Aid Media also provides marketing services operating in 5 countries. To book an appointment or to get your wrestling package, go to stevenbenzelock.bookify.com. That's Steven Benzelock at bookify.com. Check it out. Real Aid Media, providing great wrestling content for a cheap price. Northern Wrestling Federation fans, Jordan Garber Now is back with one guy who doesn't really like a lot of people on the roster, and that is none other than Sean Evans. Sean Evans, welcome to Jordan Garber Now. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Glad to be here. Thank you.
You know, that last event was a piece of history that transpired. Chris Timez, who was on this program, won the Battle Royal, but there was a lot of controversy, Sean, and I'm just going to let you spit it out from there. What are your thoughts overall on the outcome of the Future Stars Battle Royal?
Well, see, that's a touchy subject because once again, the NWF had a Future Stars Battle Royal, and once again, Noah Gabriel caused me to win the match. It happened at FanFest last year when Noah Gabriel was not supposed to be in the match, and he eliminated me. And this year, the same thing happens again. Somehow Noah Gabriel gets in the match, and I don't win. I'm at a loss for words with Noah Gabriel.
So what's going to happen next time you see Noah Gabriel face-to-face in an NWF ring?
It's the same thing that happens every time Noah Gabriel and I are face-to-face. He's going to get a kick to the face.
And what are some
Noah Gabriel one-on-one.
Is there any specific match you do it in, or would you just do it old school fashion, or would there be any sort of stipulation that you'd throw in the mixture there?
No, I don't need stipulations when it comes to Noah Gabriel. Noah Gabriel is not a wrestler Noah Gabriel doesn't belong in a wrestling ring. And every time him and I have been one-on-one, it's been him looking up at me with my hand raised.
Who are some of those other guys in the Future Stars division that you have your eye on that you want to beat in that ring? 1, 2, 3.
Well, there were a few going into the Battle Royal, but there's definitely one that I want after the Battle Royal, and that's Juice. I don't know who this kid is. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he came from. But when we came out there and I saw all those people wearing Juice masks and cheering for him, that upset me because he's never had a match. He's never been in a Future Stars or an NWF ring before, and somehow he was one of the most cheered guys on the entire event, and that upsets me.
And on that note, making things last but not least, any message you have for the NWF fans and even the rest of the locker room?
Just be warned. I'm not happy. I've said this numerous times. I do not belong on the Future Stars. They are not on the same level as me. And I'm coming for every one of them, especially Juice. Especially Juice.
Sean Evans, everybody, on the Jordan Garber Now podcast with the Northern Wrestling Federation. All right, Northern Wrestling Federation fans, it is Jordan Garber here from the Jordan Garber Now podcast, and I am here with one of the strongest newcomers here in the Northern Wrestling Federation. Very impressive in the Battle Royal, none other than Jack Phoenix. Jack, welcome to the show.
Jordan, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you reaching out and coming to me for this exclusive interview.
Well, you know what? You are fresh out of the crop here in the NWF, fully trained and here on the Future Stars roster. What was your thought on your debut there on the Future Stars Battle Royal? Do you think you fared pretty well for your first match?
I think so. I think I really made an impact. The fans gave me unbelievable support for my first match. It was incredible.
Absolutely. Who are some of the guys there that you faced in that match that you kind of have an eye on for the future?
Well, my number one priority is probably Sean Evans because he's the one that eliminated me. So, yeah, Icon was in there. And, of course, Chris Timez, the big winner of the Battle Royal.
You know, Chris Timez did cheat to win that Battle Royal as well. Sean Evans had a few strong words for the Future Stars roster, saying that he will go through anybody in his path and destroy them. What's your reaction to that statement made by Sean Evans?
Well, the headline has been around for a very long time. I'm sure you know, and I'm fresh. I'm ready to get through and get my foot through the door. And I would love to have a match with him. I think we could have a great match, and I think I would come out on top. Because when I step in that ring, that's my ring. That's the Ring of Fire.
Absolutely. That could be a definite possibility here in the Northern Wrestling Federation. And before we wrap things up, what message do you have from the fans listening, whether that's from Kentucky or Ohio or Japan or the rest of the world?
I get so much fan mail, and I read every single letter, every single tweet, every single DM, and I appreciate the love and support you guys have given me just for my first match. And I'll always keep supporting my fans, and I'll keep giving the best I can and doing the best I can to make my mark on the professional wrestling industry.
Jack Phoenix, thank you very much for your time here on the Jordan Garber Now podcast in alliance with the Northern Wrestling Federation.
Do you remember Real Aid Media? Well, the creator of that has another solution for you. Check it out. This is an emergency kit and a home safety evaluation for free. This kit has 180 pieces, such as a blanket, light stick, flashlight, cold pack, burn cream, and much, much more. This company is giving them away free to qualified homeowners, as well as a complimentary home safety evaluation for advertising purposes. The link available here is surveymonkey.com/r/204B. That's surveymonkey.com/r/204B. Check it out now.
Looks like we got a caller here calling in all the way, well, right here in Winnipeg. What is your name and where are you from?
Hi, my name's Abby Daniels Berman. Coming from Winnipeg, calling, and I just wanted to see what's up.
No problem at all. It's great to have you on the show. And one thing actually that popped up, something that you might be interested in, was Kirby Morrow and what happened. Can you kind of give us your thoughts on that?
Well, the other day I found out my favorite character, Kirby Morrow, passed away on November 18th, 2020. And it's sad because the new Yashahime came out, and it's from the Inuyasha series. So I'm pretty upset, but you know what? I'm very faithful about the new Yashahime coming out, and I'm really happy and excited. And a few videos have been recorded with his voice, so look out for those new episodes.
You also have some really funny stories as well. Like, you met Tommy Chong. Can you kind of share that? That's pretty impressive.
Okay, so my ex ended up getting us tickets to go see Tommy Chong, and Cheech, man, it was so awesome. And we went to the Regent Casino, and we met Tommy Chong, and afterwards he was doing little viewings with other people, like a type of VIP thing. And my ex was related to Tommy Chong. He's his cousin. So we ended up going in, and I could not speak whatsoever to Tommy Chong. I was too excited, overwhelmed, but I got to smoke a blunt with him, and I was just so extremely excited and happy.
What's that like going through your mind? Are you feeling goosebumps? Do you feel like you're floating? Are you what's going through your mind during something like that? That's like your icon, your hero.
I swear, it's like being high on acid. It's like you see everything so colorful and contrast and just amazing. You never see anything so bubbly except in your childhood. It's so inspiring just to meet your hero, basically.
Now, when it comes to my top friends, like you, one of my best friends, being a very successful upcoming model is something I've always noticed about you, having that potential. And then we were kind of talking about a few days back about being like an Instagram stoner model and all those things. So with what you're doing with modeling now and the impressions you're gaining, do you plan on taking that to an Instagram level sometime in the future, maybe being like a stoner model or something?
Oh, definitely. I would love to be a stoner model. I'm working very hard just to get people to view my stuff and see my content, and I'm trying my best. But hopefully one day I can become a model superior to the people that I admire. Oh man, there's so many people in Winnipeg that I know are models. They're so fabulous, so inspiring, and they made me the person I am today. Just like you inspired me to become the person I am today by your kindness and everything that you do for me. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to talk to you.
Let's talk about photo shoots. Now, what are some of your favorite shots, some favorite scenes that you'd enjoy doing a photo shoot in? Would it be by a tree in the fall time, or would it be by the riverside? What's your ideal place for a photo shoot?
If I'm going to be honest, it would be during this time, during winter, putting out some Christmas shoots, or maybe even just some holidays, bring that cheer, especially during COVID. It's just everybody's feeling so down, and I gotta say, even writing letters to a family member, or just, talking, phone calls, all these old things that we used to do back in the early 2000s would be brilliant to bring back, because our children need to know that we love them, and even though we can't provide to them at this time, we can do our best to love them at this time.
Well, I certainly appreciate you calling in and you providing your views. We've always gotten along every time we interacted, and good vibes sent along to you. Any final comments you have for anybody listening before we take some more calls?
Come and watch this guy, and come and listen to him, because he's brilliant, and I love him so much. Thank you so very much, Jordan, for having me on the show.
Not a problem.
Are you looking for the best vehicle for your needs at an affordable budget? Well, Hickman Auto Sales and Financing has exactly what you're looking for. Choose from a wide variety of vehicles like the 2012 Hyundai Tucson GLS, the 2016 Chrysler 200LX, and the 2020 Chevrolet Tahoe. All trades are accepted and paid off, and child tax, pension, disability, EI, social assistance, or self-employed are all approved. Low payments of $0 down. For more information, call 204-898-3511 or visit HickmanAutoFinancing.com. Tell them Jordan Garber now sent you. You know, with my experience as a wrestling journalist, I've used many podcast providers for my wrestling shows, but nothing has seemed to work. However, if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, and Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Alright guys, welcome again to the Jordan Garber Now podcast, and we are here with none other than Steve Barber, the host himself of the Armchair Booking podcast, and he was on our program as well in the past on the Jordan Garber Now News Update, and we're going to throw him here on the main show. So Steve, it's great to have you back on, man. How you been?
I've been pretty good, Jordan. Nice to hear from you. I appreciate you having me on. How have you been?
I've been pretty good, honestly. I can't complain. You know, I've just been really busy running the Jordan Garber Now podcast, really happy running a good product, and not just talking to wrestlers, but talking to people of all sports and their point of view. It's been really, really amazing. But when it comes to what you've been doing, you've been running a solid podcast product as well. First of all, for starters, where can everyone listen to it, and what's it called?
Well, the name of the podcast is the Armchair Booking Wrestling Podcast, and we're actually hosted by Block Talk Radio. And so you can go to blocktalkradio.com/SteveBarber73, because I didn't have the foresight of actually having the name of the podcast within the URL. But, you know, it's all right. We'll work past that. If you need to get a hold of us, it's armchairbookingpodcast@gmail.com. We also are on Facebook at facebook.com/armchairbookingpodcast. We're on Twitter @bookingarmchair, and you can download us on iHeartRadio. You can find us on Stitcher. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify, and I'm trying to get added to more platforms as well. But those are the ones we're on right now. So, you know, so we're very, very fortunate we've gotten on those, and this has been a heck of an experience, and I'm very, very glad that you reached out to us when you did, because it's been helping us a lot, and I hope we can help you out a lot as well.
From one wrestling podcaster to another, what gives it the go? What gives you the go to do it each and every single Monday? You know, what makes you want to do it, and how do you do it, and where's your motivation? Where does that come from for you?
Just my love of wrestling since I was about 10 years old. My broadcast partner, Kyle, he's the same way. You know, he's been a wrestling fan since he was probably about 10 years old himself. He and I both were in the Air Force. We were stationed together, and that's actually how we met. And we've been friends now for about 22, 23 years. And we just like to broadcast our thoughts and feelings. And then we've kind of figured out other people like hearing other wrestling fans talk. You know, just like, you know, you and I talking right now about wrestling because we both have love for it. And, you know, and we also, and I know you listen to other podcasts and I listen to other podcasts because we just happen to love it. And that's my motivation, is really staying with the sport and now kind of being a part of it.
Absolutely. It's amazing to have the interaction. Who are some wrestlers that you interviewed on your show that were just like class acts that you would have on again any day of the week?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Who are some guests that you had on your show that you really enjoyed having that you'd have on again any day of the week?
Unfortunately, we have not had any guests yet because we're still fairly young. But I think a big coup of mine, to be honest with you, would probably be the Hardy Boys, because I grew up in North Carolina for the most part, and about 15 minutes away from them. And we may have met each other growing up, but they actually went to high school with some family members of mine, and their dad worked with my granddad. You know, found that out much later on, but I would love to be able to wrestle. I'd love to be able to interview them. Some of the local people with the the Northern Wrestling Federation, which I know you're actually a part of now. You're interviewing them. I would love to actually have them on the show if I could. And I've actually gotten some of them to follow the Twitter page for the podcast as well. You know, so hopefully I can have them interviewed here soon. You know. And, you know, I think that would be absolutely great.
No, absolutely. I can totally agree with that. And you always run a great show, and I look forward to shows in the future. And I know that you're going to have some really solid guests in the future. What are some other like scenes that you like to cover? Like if you could like do your podcast anywhere, what territory would you put it in?
Oh, let's see. Right now I'm in Ohio, so maybe the territories around Ohio, or what we're calling now, I guess, the Indies, because the territory days unfortunately are gone. If I could cover something in North Carolina, or maybe some of the ones in Texas, maybe Maryland, because Maryland's actually another state that actually has a good wrestling scene still, because you see some of the names that are coming out of there, like Leo Rush and Velveteen Dream, they're both coming from Maryland. And so, there's got to be something good going on out there.
Oh,
and, yeah.
About that's for sure. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but, favorite all-time matches you could share with us? Anything you have in mind? Favorite match of all time?
Favorite all-time matches? Wow, that's I kind of go old school on some of that. I mean, I'll go back to the Tully Blanchard Magnum TA I Quit match. There's just something about the brutality of that one. And there's another match on a Starrcade a year later, Starrcade 86, that I don't think gets a lot of play. That's the Rock and Roll Express versus the Andersons for the tag team belts. And, of course, when you go to WWF and WWE, you can't forget Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man at WrestleMania 3. But almost anything with Shawn Michaels, of course, he's had a couple where he decided to kind of show up the joint, like his match with Hogan in 05 at SummerSlam. But my favorite heel, wow, let's see, probably Tully Blanchard. And I didn't realize until much later on, I mean, how much I hated him as a kid. But then as an adult, I appreciate how good of a job he was doing. And he was one of those, I mean, he just had you convinced, you just hated the guy. You just wanted to see him get beat every single week. But he was that good, and so it was hard for him to get beat.
Oh, man. I have to say those are some pretty good answers and quite a good selection. Once again, where can people follow your podcast, whether they're listening from here in Canada, Ohio, or anywhere else around the world?
They can find us. We actually broadcast live every Monday night, 8:30 Eastern Time. Yeah. And you can find that on blogtalkradio.com/SteveBarber73. I also post a link on our Facebook, so you can find it from there, and on the Twitter as well, so you can find it there. We're found on iHeartRadio, on Stitcher, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Just do a search for Armchair Booking, and we should be the only ones that pop up for that. I've also, you just put in Armchair, you'll find a lot of things. But Armchair Booking specifically, you should find us.
All right, Steve Barber, thank you very much for being once again on the Jordan Garber Now podcast. We greatly appreciate it, and I wish you and your family all the best during this time. You take care.
I appreciate it, Jordan, man. Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you as well. All right, guys. Jordan Garber now back with some news here, and we have none other than Martez Ale from Open Talk 313 The Flash. How you doing, my main man?
Yeah, Jordan, I'm doing good, man. Number one, I'm fortunate to be back on your show. It's a blessing that you reach out to me. You can reach out to so many people, but you reach out to me, so I'm thankful to be back, and just still excited that we are in partnership together some kind of way.
Well, we are still having Jordan Garber now on Open Talk 313 The Flash. You guys are taking a break for the holidays, so I'm using you. I'm using Mr. Cruz. I'm using a lot of your talent, so they have a show to work on during that break. But, man, Open Talk 313 The Flash here in 2020, such a big year for yourself. Before we get to news, looking back on your product overall, including our podcast on your network, how big and how successful was your network overall in getting the name out there?
This was our third year, and we took things to another level. That was my goal, was to take things to another level, get more exposure, be able to book people that people don't think we can book. So we've been able to achieve a lot of goals. I consider this last season a success. I'm very proud of what we built. Yes, I am the founder and I run the whole thing, but Open Talk wouldn't be what it is without the host. The host that used the platform I created to do their show. So it's always a collaboration like yourself. We all working together. So I think we did a good job, and we got a few things coming up in 2020, 2021 that should knock some socks off people.
Honestly, man, at the end of the day,
That's what it's about.
you got to work together and be consistent. And I had the pleasure to do stuff like that with you, and I always feel like I work better if it's together. And doing this podcast on a solo basis has definitely been a challenge at times because it's hard to talk about news on your own when you're not running with momentum. And you've been amazing for that. So, kind of going into things here, as we're recording this, it's Sunday night. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and it's currently the middle of Survivor Series. What do you think of the show so far?
So far, it's what I expected. It's not a great pay-per-view by no stretch of the imagination, but I'm a huge WWE fan, so whatever they put out there, I'm usually okay with it because I know what to expect. I am happy that the Street Profits went over against the New Day in their tag team matchup. I feel like the Street Profits, this is their time. And what better way to go to the next level than to beat one of the most the best tag team WWE has pushed and produced in the last 7 years. That in the persons of the New Day. So the Street Profits picked up that victory. I've also had a chance to see Bobby Lashley just destroy Sami Zayn in that Intercontinental versus a United States Champion matchup. The Hurt Business, they were out there rooting on Bobby Lashley, which I am a big fan of the Hurt Business. I like what they're doing right now. So
I
Bobby
also
Lashley
like what they're
the
doing with that. I love the Hurt Business.
Yeah.
Anyways, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, I do too, man. It's something different. It's something unique. They don't look the same as everybody else, and it's not because of the skin tone. It's just because they have a different swag, different flavor that they bring to the show, and I think WWE needed that. Also, Raw, the Raw five-man team picked up the victory against SmackDown Male's five-man team pretty easily. Like, this is one of the first Survivor Series 5-on-5 matchups that all 5 members of the winning team were still there. So no member of the Raw team was eliminated, and I've never seen that before. And I thought that
was
was
the first time ever in a Survivor Series that happened. I also have a comment on the Hurt Business after.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure if that's the first time, but I know for a fact that's the first time I've ever seen it. And I think that's remarkable that they were able to do that. And the writers, creative, thought of that team that much to allow them not to be pinned or submitted.
You know what I like the most about the Hurt Business is that, if these guys weren't in a stable, they would all be on the undercard right now or in the mid-card, and they would be underrated talent. And now these underrated talent are all getting a push in which they deserve in a way that's acceptable for an audience to engage in and enjoy. And that's why I'm a big fan of the Hurt Business.
Hey, Jordan, you that was an amazing statement you just made because it is true. You think about Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin, before the Hurt Business came on the scene, like, Shelton Benjamin was an afterthought. I was one of those people, if you go back and listen to earlier editions of Wrestle Talk and D, I didn't understand why WWE brought him back to not use him. And I was
They
just
never
kind
used
of
him when
pissed.
they first brought him back.
Never. I'm exactly. This is an amazing talent. Like, Shelton Benjamin can go toe to toe with anybody, and they didn't use him. So I'm happy he was able to link up with this group. Cedric Alexander, who I never cared about, but when he decided to join the Hurt Business, his stock instantly went up with me, and the attention that's going with Cedric Alexander went up a notch because he's with the Hurt Business, and I got to credit that to MVP. MVP, he signed with WWE for just a couple shows, and then eventually he became producer for a few more shows, and some kind of way he was pushed into the regular storylines, and like MVP has actually revitalized his career, and he has been a big help to Bobby Lashley and the other two guys.
The thing with Lashley, MVP, and Benjamin is that Benjamin had good matches in 2003-04, and now it's 2020, and he's still having the same caliber matches. Lashley's having good matches in 06, 07, 05, same caliber matches, and it's just absolutely incredible what they're all still able to do at this level. Like, you have some true talent here, and I love how they're being utilized. I got to give WWE a pat on the back for that. It's incredible.
Absolutely. Most of the time, if you read social media, the comments and the postings and Twitter and Facebook, people are basically pissing on WWE or angry with WWE for their storylines or their creative. But this right here, creating the Hurt Business, and I got to give WWE a high five because they did something. They did something good, and they have something good going right now. With these gentlemen, and yeah, to piggyback on what you say, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, they haven't missed a beat. You know, they still can go. You know, Bobby Lashley, he looked as good as he looked in 05-07. So kudos to him and the way he keeps his body in shape, as well as Benjamin.
He did decent in MMA. I thought he was underrated in MMA. You know, if he had a few more fights under him, he would have definitely been more at an advantage. And even his TNA career was pretty impressive as well. But what else were we going to talk about here going into the women's division? Do you think it's going in the right direction, so to say?
Yep, I think it's going back into the right direction. A couple years ago, 2017, 2018, they had a I don't want to say a resurgence, but they had a what should I say? They had the women's division went to another level. Okay, that never went to before. But probably mid 2019, I felt like the women's division kind of fell back. It didn't have that same fire. It didn't have that same entertainment value for me. Because I feel like the women were reverting back to their old days, boring and this, that, and the third. But I do believe over the last 5-7 months in 2020, the women's division is headed in the right direction in WWE per se. Sasha Banks, she's the SmackDown Women's Champion. That's a beautiful thing. People been wanting Sasha Banks to be a champion and successfully defend her championship for a long time now. Asuka, she's a strong champion on Raw. You got people like Bianca Belair. She's the hottest thing going right now in WWE. She's a new talent from NXT. She has a lot of potential. She has a lot of upside. I think I see big things for her. And WWE, they'll be smart to have a WrestleMania matchup between Belair and Banks. That's money right there. That's box office, if you ask me. And then you got the Riot Squad. They are surging. Well, who else? You got Nia Jax and Baszler. They're the women's tag team champions. You got me going now. They're pretty strong. So it's a lot of good women talent out there in WWE, and I think they're going back into the right direction.
Shayna Baszler is still that badass character that everyone thought she would be at the beginning of things, or do you feel that she's kind of lost a little bit of that?
Well, she's definitely lost a little bit of that. I think they're trying to get her back there. When she first burst on the scene from leaving NXT, she was that hardcore, bad, you know what? She was a bad mamma jamma, but she had lost a couple matches. She lost to Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. She had lost to Nia Jax and Asuka in a triple threat matchup. She had lost a few other victories that she shouldn't have lost. So that kind of took her stock down. They kept her off TV for a little bit, for like a month or so. They kept her off TV, and then they eventually brought her back, and then they teamed her up with Nia Jax. But that team has been dominant. So that's a help for her, okay? The fact that her and Nia Jax, they're a dominant team, that's a check in the right direction for her. But I think we need to see her by herself again. They need to drop the titles, and then she need to go solo again and be that Batman Pajama that she was in NXT. So I think she still has time to be that dominant force. You know, I love her in-ring work that she display on a regular basis. So I think she can get back to that level of dominance.
Definitely, I just feel like it's a time standstill period for her currently at this time. But have you been paying any attention to any other promotions or just WWE right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been watching AEW a little bit more than I was since they started off. I mean, when they started off, I was watching it religiously for like the first 3 months, but then I lost interest in it because it wasn't moving the needle with me. It wasn't entertaining me. I'm so used to WWE, and I get it. I'm a WWE junkie. I'm a WWE apologist. I'm probably conditioned.
Oh no, I was just saying that there is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. You know, with AEW too, they're doing big things, but you know, WWE, you know, they're treating this pandemic pretty well, and I like the Thunderdome aspect, and I hope to be a part of the Thunderdome someday. Have you ever tried being a part of the Thunderdome, or?
I haven't yet. That'd be something cool to be a part of. I may try it, but I'm always busy, so I don't know if you have to sign up a few days in advance or the day of. So I don't know how that works, but I'm usually so
Wednesday
busy.
at
I'm never even
10:30
sure if I
a.m.
can. Oh,
That's
okay.
when I heard it
Okay.
restarts. So I'm gonna try this Wednesday at 10:30
Cool.
a.m. So that's
You got it, Jordan. You got it, my man.
Do you feel like WWE should keep on going with the 205 Lives and like even some of the NXT shows, or should they just stick to the big two at this time?
I think they should continue with NXT for sure. NXT is
But do they need the 205
that's a product.
Live?
That's a part. Well, yeah. Years ago I would have said no, they don't. Even now I'm going to say that they don't need 205 Live, but at the same time, I think 205 Live serves its purpose. You know, there's a section, there's a small group of people that like 205 Live. So for those people alone, I think they should keep 205 Live going. However, I think they should ingratiate 205 Live more into NXT. Instead of having 205 Live as a standalone show, like put more cruiserweight matches on NXT, and then maybe do like every now and then do a 205 Live special. You don't have to do it every week, but do a 205 Live special. So they can do some unique things with that. But to answer your question, as of right now, I'm okay with 205 Live still being in the regular rotation.
Do you feel like you have an estimation on when this whole virus is going to come to an end and there's going to be live crowds again? That's a really crazy, hard question to ask, but restrictions are different everywhere, so.
Yeah. That's a good question, and I have a lot of feelings about the virus. It's a real virus, but is it real? Anyway, I'm gonna leave these. I'm not gonna say this on your platform.
You can say whatever you want, my man. You don't feel like you have to be filtered.
Okay, I have my skepticism on this virus. I believe it's out here, but the question is, was it placed out here on purpose? That's the thing. So sometimes I feel like it was placed out here.
Absolutely,
on
I
purpose.
feel it is. I absolutely think it is. No, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't mean to say this, but there's one place we can blame. And I'm not going to go into details, but it was absolutely placed. It was literally placed on by China, because their proof is that this virus was made in a wetland market, which is fine. You know, you have cuisines, but you know they didn't follow proper safety protocols, and because of their selfishness, it ruined the world. Now, I'm not here to paint everyone with the same brush, but those individuals working at that market placed it on us. Absolutely. China placed this virus on our world. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
I don't know if you're going to agree, but it's China's fault. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's true.
You know what, Jordan? What I like about what you just did there is that you kept it real, and that's what I wish more people do is keep it real. Say how you feel, whether you offend somebody or not. And I can't argue with you on that. I can't say you're wrong for thinking that way.
I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm just saying that the specific wet market that did that, yes, were bad, very bad people that did that because they weren't following protocols. Because these wet markets have survived in China for years, and because of protocols, and it's not from that woman eating a bat. It's from that wetland market. And people are just
exactly.
So yeah, absolutely. I think it's place China did it. I feel like it might have been intentional too from the government. I have a conspiracy belief because China has never been good news.
Yep. You won't, nothing happens by accident. Come on now. I mean, really, you're going to see what this all is going to lead to. It's going to lead to something. And the world will never be the same again. I don't know if people are really prepared for where it's going, but I think it's going to be a world where we're all going to be dictated by one rule and one law, the whole world. And that's something that people don't want to hear. I don't want to hear, but I feel like I see where it's going. But in regards to fans coming back, I know the NFL and college, they have allowed, different states have different rules down here in the United States. And if you watch certain football games, you'll see 2,000
Dallas,
fans.
They have crowds.
Yep.
And that is kind of I don't know if it's good or bad to see that. Sorry to cut you off, but it's kind of like a breath of fresh air because it's good to see a crowd again at a Cowboys if they're at home. I'm not going to lie.
Brother Garber, it is so good. Sometimes we take things for granted, and I'm getting emotional as I say this. We take things for granted. I never thought I would be so happy to see 20 people in a crowd like I see Wednesday nights on NXT. They have this virtual thing like they do on Raw and SmackDown, but if you go back and watch NXT, you see that they are allowing fans in there, but not a lot of fans. Probably about 20 fans, and stuff like that. I appreciate that because fans really more with wrestling than any sport. Fans truly play a part in the storyline. We need fans that's going to boo the heel. We need fans that's going to cheer the hero. We need fans that's going to boo the backstabbing friend that turns on his friend. The fans in wrestling are more important than any other fans in any sport, and that's my take on it. Because the fans are a part of the storyline more than the fans are a part of the game in the NFL or NBA or NHL, if you will.
That's so true because there's nothing like working in front of a crowd, that's for sure. And you know what? Even if it's virtual or in reality, it's just such a relief to see a crowd on with the Thunderdome too. Even at the NBA playoffs, what they were doing with that has been absolutely amazing. Who are some stars right now that are not getting enough attention that you have an eye on right now?
That's a good question. Wow. Let's see. Now, are you talking about in wrestling or just in all the sports?
You can do. Just do wrestling. Let's do wrestling.
Okay. I usually will be able to say this off the bat. Let me think. Bear with me because it's a lot of them. John Morrison.
I love John Morrison. I should have had a world title.
Yep.
Reign. Or he did, but he should have had like a WWE championship reign. I feel.
Exactly. And when he signed back with WWE a few months back, I thought he was signing back to be part of the championship picture. He may eventually get there, but so far he's just been a sideshow with the Miz. He's been a comedic character, in which he's been doing a good job at. But I think John Morrison, people are forgetting, not yourself, people are forgetting that he's a big time wrestler. He killed it in Impact Wrestling. He killed it in Lucha Underground. He was killing it on the independent scene. So John Morrison is one of those people that I think is being slept on, as well as people like Aleister Black. You know, Aleister Black, he's an afterthought at this point. At this point, but Aleister Black, he burst on the scene and he was a dominant force. But I don't know what happened once he got to the main roster.
You see that happen with so many stars in WWE. You see that happen almost like 90%.
Yes.
But
yeah, that's crazy. And
go ahead.
And I almost think it's just too many stars. Okay, for everybody to get a push. You know, like everybody's legitimately good. You know, on the same level, if you will. You think about somebody like Apollo Crews. He's a quote unquote quintessential jobber, not jobber, but he's a mid carder or below mid carder, but he can go toe to toe with Roman Reigns if he's pushed correctly. He's just as good as Roman Reigns. He's just as good as Drew McIntyre. You know, but it's just too much talent in one spot, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree, and I totally understand where you are coming from. Where can people listen to your podcast and follow all of your stuff on social media?
Good. Thanks for asking that. Well, we're going to be doing a few different things once we come back in January. I've been working hard to be able to stream these shows on a different platform. So every day I'm working hard to figure out how to do this stuff because it's only me. And I'm starting to get help. You know, yeah, because I'm realizing if I want to continue to do this radio stuff for years to come, I got to start trusting people to help me, and I can't be around all the time. So I'm going to be bringing on some people after I talk to them and see if they're a good fit, just to help as far as producing the shows, as far as promoting the shows when I'm not around. But 2021, we're going to have an app that people can listen in. That we're going to have, as well as you can listen on the website, the Open Talk website, which isn't finished yet, so I won't give you the full name of it yet. But the website is where people are going to have to directly go to listen, the website or the app. But we are also going to be using third-party services like, I believe it's called Tulin. It's a radio app, I believe. That's not our official app, but Tulin is some kind of radio app where people can listen to us as well. What else? And then doing a few other things. Blog Talk Radio, that's where we've been doing the shows for the last 3 years. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that. I'm thinking about doing something different with that, like turning that into a secondary channel, just so we won't lose, just so we or I won't lose that. So that means I need to be able to find more shows to produce on that platform. But yeah, pretty much our new website, the app, that's where people can go listen.
Well, that's some really exciting news there, Martez, and I look forward to having you on the show in the very, very near future. Any final words?
Oh, man. I want to tell you, keep doing what you're doing, man. You're one of the best things out here in the world of not just wrestling, but in all of journalism. You have a good podcast. You're a great journalist, and I look forward to doing more things with you. I know I've actually asked you to do a few favors for me this upcoming season. So I would just tell you, man, just keep doing what you're doing. Your show is only going to get better, man. So that's all I really wanted to say. Yeah.
Well, I certainly appreciate it there, Martez, and your show's going to get better and better as well, and it's already on a very high level. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you too, Jordan. Have a good one, brother.
You as well.
Up next on the Jordan Garber Now podcast, the return of Prince Nana.
Do you enjoy talking to your favorite wrestling superstars? Well, Jordan Garber Now has an opportunity for you. For only $5.99, you get to have a 10 to 15 minute conversation with any of your favorite Jordan Garber Now interviewees. Send me a Facebook message for more information.
We are here on the Jordan Garber Now podcast, and guys, I can't believe it. This guy is back. Last time I was talking to him, I was having a turkey club, and he said I interrupted his lunch. Well, he interrupted mine, but he's back. Prince Nana, welcome to Jordan Garber Now.
You know, you know what? You're doing it again. You're doing it again, my friend. I'm in the middle of a bubble bath, all right, with some of the finest oils and soaps. And lo and behold, who's calling me, all right? Who's calling me with this scheduled podcast? My good friend, Jordan Garber, all right? So I couldn't resist. I got out of the tub, all right, with water dripping everywhere. And here I am, Prince Nana, in his illustrious self. How are you, Jordan?
I'm doing pretty good. I have a box of chocolates next to me, and I have some Beverly Cleary books, so I'm pretty much set for my jacuzzi bath after as well. But
there you go. You learning.
Before we get into some deep business and some great thoughts, I just want to ask one wrestling question, before we get into the good stuff.
No problem, Jordan. You can ask me all the wrestling questions. What's up?
When it comes to the pandemic, it's definitely a time of reflection. And let's keep this question very simple. Looking back to one of the greatest moments of your time in Ring of Honor, what would you say the top 2 memories are of all time? And what were some of the top guys you managed that you really enjoyed and have good memories with? If you could narrow it down.
Top guys, all right. Number 1, my good buddy. All right, good buddy. All right, who I always have high hopes for, and I speak to often, and always make sure that he's good because we did something special in the industry, and he should always be saluted for that. And that's my good friend Jimmy Rave, and Alex Shelley. All right, my good friend. Spanky. All right, Brian Kendrick. All right, and the list goes on. Homicide, Loki, rest in peace, Xavier. So, my time in Ring of Honor was special, sweet. I loved it. One of the best times was, announcing Jimmy Rave back in Ring of Honor after so many years to team up with Bison Smith, and the list goes on. So, yeah, it was a great time. And, there's great more times coming, my friend.
Absolutely. Ring of Honor definitely has a stacked roster. And,
oh, man, I can't wait. They're going to have a big 2021. I can't wait to, see what they're going to do.
Definitely. And I feel like wrestling is still going very strong during this pandemic, and I give credit to all those promotions putting on a 5-star show each and every time.
Absolutely.
What is one thing that you want to see for pro wrestling overall after the pandemic that hasn't happened before?
Unity. All right, unity and respect. Unity number 1. All right, across the board. All right, and I'm just gonna say the word unity. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. All right, and just a little bit more kind of like a salute to, not only the veterans that are getting older and in their 80s and in their 70s that have paved the way, and the mid ones, the mid generation ones, but also the new legends. We have to pay respect and homage to all the guys that have laid foundation and been able to help open up avenues for there to be showcases like the ones that we're seeing at AEW, we're seeing at ROH and NXT, and so on and so forth.
Now, there is something, you had amazing wrestling talk, and you know what, you definitely had an awesome career, so thanks for everything you gave, but there's a new generation, there's a new era, and there's a new product, and I want you to inform all of our listeners about it right now.
Oh, man, it's the embassy system, all right? The embassy system, my friend, a lot of people have been asking up and down, what is this? What is the embassy system that you're talking about? It's exactly what you've experienced all those years in sports entertainment and pro wrestling at Ring of Honor. That, the embassy has been producing, and that's, stars making dreams come true, okay? Because anyone who was a part of the embassy, all right, the embassy as a whole, all right, they've gotten great things. They've achieved wonderful dreams, all right, that they've, had in their minds, and we've helped them bring that to reality. And right now we're helping people outside, all right, of the wrestling business that happen to be fans, make their dreams become reality. And the people that are in the wrestling business who, want to continue to pursue, all right, their career at a high level, but not have to worry about where the gas money is going to come from, all right? All right, the thing you have to worry about is making sure you have a payment coming to you from your promoter, all right? Just worry about what that payment is, all right? And you worry about nothing else because you are financially free, all right? Because you have, a system, all right, in place that you can go to that's going to be working for you on a regular basis. So, it's a system that I have, put into place, all right, and that I have adopted from, a really great teacher, all right, that I've been introducing to all of my followers. Because if I don't do that, then I'll be selfish, right, Jordan?
Absolutely, you would be extremely selfish.
Why not share, all right? Why not share, all right, an opportunity for people to live their dreams, all right, like Prince Nana and the affiliates of the embassy have done and are doing today. So, all you have to do is hear what it's about. All you have to do is inquire. All you have to do is send an inbox because Prince Nana is good. All right, that's number one. Can we agree that Prince Nana is good, Jordan?
Prince Nana is a good man.
All right, I'm good. I'm good. So, let's just keep it that way, guys. I'm good, all right? You're good. I just want to make sure everybody is good, all right? Because if it wasn't for this system, all right, and if it wasn't for this individual that I've been introducing everybody to, oh man, all right, nothing will be possible in continuing to create an unbelievable organization that one day will come to fruition, all right, in Prince Nana as well, all right? But what is your story, all right? What is the story that you want to create is what Nana wants to help you create, all right? So it's not about my story. It's not about, Carrie Silkin's story. It's not about Vince McMahon's story, all right? It's not about Bret Hart's story or whoever the world champion. It's about your story, okay? Everything else is entertainment, and that's good, but what is your story? And Jordan, I'm so proud of you. You've been creating a story over the last year and a half, that I've maybe known you, and it's inspiring, okay? And to see it go from what it is now and how it's been growing inch by inch, month by month, all right? All right? Shrimp cocktail by shrimp cocktail, all right? It's a beautiful thing, all right? So, I want all my friends out there that are listening to follow me on Twitter, all right? At Prince King Nana, all right? Just add me right now, all right? Inbox me. All right, just inbox me and say, hey, I want to be a part of the embassy system. And Prince Nana will make you a part, all right? He will show you what it is that Jimmy Rave has done, what it is that Mia Yim has done, what it is that Claudio Costero has done, what it is that many people, Alex Shelley, all right? Abyss, all right? Rest in peace, Xavier. So many people have experienced. And the list goes on outside of wrestling. And the list goes on in different companies in wrestling. So become a part of the embassy system, all right? The system that we are related to, okay? The system that we have adapted to is an unbelievable, proven system, all right, to help you accomplish your dreams. And that's really why I'm so happy to share that, with everybody. Jordan, it's wow. It's, I can't wait to have you on the team, all right? And after the call, I know you said we're going to talk and we're going to wheel and deal, all right? But, everybody should be giving you a round of applause because, you out there, you in Canada, all right? Right now you're on the quarantine. You'd rather be doing the referee thing and this and that, but you out there, you working, all right? You're out there doing podcasts. You're out there, doing wrestling interviews, all right? You're not out there doing nothing crazy. You're following the guidelines, all right? And you're building your brand. You're building your business. And that's what everybody should be doing. Build your brand, build your business, and then promote yourself, all right, to the other brands that you want to be affiliated with, like Vince McMahon and his story, all right? Carrie Silken and the story of Ring of Honor, the Impact story, so on and so forth. Adapt your story to their story. That's all that you have to do in order to make it. If you're not doing that, that's not what's happening. And we teach you more in depth, all right, how to do that with the embassy system.
Funny story too for our listeners too is I always appreciate that mentorship you offer, Prince Nana, because I told you millions of times how I met you and Donovan Dijak, and you guys were the first people. Like from a wrestler having a tryout and being on the sidelines and witnessing that, it's such a part of a journey, especially what you're talking about with the embassy, what many wrestlers go through. But you guys were the first to shake my hand, along with the rest of the Ring of Honor roster, and I have to say, you're definitely a class act. And when veterans in this business like you give back to someone like me who's just learning and will always learn forever, it means the world, my man.
Hey, do you want a Kleenex? All right. Do you want a Kleenex? That was very nice. All right. That was very nice. Thank you for the kind words. You almost cried. All right. And it's thoughtful. And I'm grateful to be here on the line. But I just want people to know something. Prince Nana is not gone from the wrestling business. All right. I still have my YouTube page, The Prince Nana Show. All right. So go on, check out The Prince Nana Show. All right, on YouTube. And Prince Nana is continuously taking care, all right, of his health, of his family, well-being, of friends and associates and partners, all right? And one thing that I just want everybody to know is that when I come back, all right, you guys better be on point. You guys better be ready to work. And show me the work that you put in there, all right? Because Prince Nana has a plan. And that plan will go into effect. And everybody is going to be asking and wondering and seeing and wanting to do. But it's going to be too late, all right? So before it's too late, inbox me, all right?
The Prince has said it himself. Do you have any final words for our listeners listening all the way from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Pittsburgh, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, all around the world? Any other final words, my man?
All my people, all right, in the house, all right, I want to say thank you for the 25 years of support, all right? It's only going to get better. I want to say shout out to all of the boys and the girls over at AEW, ROH, WWE, all right, NXT, Impact, and all of the independent companies and small companies throughout the world, all right? All right, it's Prince Nana at Prince King Nana. All right, Prince Residual on Twitter.
All right, Prince Nana, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Newest and hottest in the world of pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 6,000 hours of the best events from over 150 of your favorite promotions from 20 different countries around the globe. Brands like Progress Wrestling, Evolve Wrestling, Combat Zone, Defy, PCW Ultra, PWX, Over the Top, Shine, and hundreds of others with fresh content added every day for only $5.99 per month. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
You heard them. Use promo code POWERSLAM now.
Jordan Garber now here. And it's very exciting when I have guests on talking about products. This guy is the promoter for my last ever show I ever refereed before I had to pull myself out of there because I'm 120 pounds soaking wet. So I was done after that. But Louis gave me that opportunity to referee that great match that night. with none other than Shawn Martins and Mitch Clark. And later in that night, did we see an amazing main event with none other than Danny Duggan and Mentolo. My question for you is, Weasel, how did it all happen, man?
Pardon me, why are you calling me Weasel? You know I'm the manager of champions, and my name is Lou E. Dangerously. I am not a weasel, Mr. Garber. Get it straight.
Well, what if a company made that mistake and they called you the Weasel? Would you talk to them like that? Because, you know, we what if an employer comes there? What if there's a rival wrestling company that wants to work with the CNWEA? What would you do if they called you?
I apologize, Mr. Garber, sir. I'm just a little tired right now, but I apologize. Yes, that's right. You got it correct. My name is the Weasel. I am the manager of champions.
Well, you have every right to be tired. You know, you've definitely put on a great event. Talk about, like, the whole process from start to finish, especially during the pandemic as a promoter, putting on an event for an audience. How much of a challenge is that?
Well, it's quite a challenge. We were supposed to run, as you know, you were going to be at our show. We were supposed to run, I believe it was late October we were going to run, and then things happened, the pandemic happened, and we had to cancel our event due to COVID restrictions, but we're coping with it.
Definitely. What are your long-term goals? Do you guys just want to create more revenue, generate more fans, you know, bring in some great talent? What's on your mind of tricks?
Yeah, it's a little of everything, a combination of everything. We want to start doing more events when this COVID stuff dies down. We're going to be traveling on the road. We're going to do some Alberta shots. We're going to go all over Manitoba, all over Saskatchewan, hopefully, a little bit of different areas, maybe Ontario. We're going to journey all over to different churches and stuff like that, and we're going to put on a show wherever we can. And we want to bring in a lot of great talent. Jeremy Prophet will be one of them coming in eventually. And many others. There's lots of great people that want to work with us, so we got to do what we can to get up and running very soon.
Who are some of your favorite guys on the roster right now that you really see going a long way in terms of management from your perspective?
Well, I'd say 23-year international luchador sensation, whether I like him or not, Zombie Killer Mentolo. He's definitely going to be going somewhere very soon. I hope to see him in Ohio Valley Wrestling very soon.
That'd be amazing, you know. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry about that.
No,
as well as the Cheetah Bear Jordan, Duke Dawkins is going to go somewhere very, very soon as well.
Definitely, I see that going a long way for the Cheetah Bear as well as the Zombie Killer Mentolo. In terms of a main event, like, what do you look for out of your talent to deliver the best show possible?
Well, I look for guys that have respect for the business, guys that have been around the business, that put on great matches, they entertain the fans, they know what they're doing, and they put 100%, 1,000% into the product and into the match, and telling the story and doing what they need to do to make the match happen.
You know, there's an old school wrestling tape you prefer to watch for the night. You know, you're kicked back, you're relaxed, you have your hot chocolate. Which event are you going to watch? You can pick anything on the menu. Which show are you going to watch?
I would watch some of the old AWA stuff.
Oh, man, those days were amazing. Like Larry the Axe Hennig and all those great, phenomenal superstars. And honestly, Louie, Weasel, I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of your organization and promote it. And not just be a promoter, but live the dream and wear those referee stripes as well. What is your overall message for Winnipeg Wrestling? What's your main objective, accomplishment, and what do you want to be done in the end?
Well, for the Christian National Wrestling Exhibition Alliance, we are a wrestling promotion. We were also a ministry. And at the Christian National Wrestling Exhibition Alliance, our goal is to change and save lives with people if they have a problem with addiction or whatever, any kind of problem they're dealing with life. And if they like professional wrestling and they want to become a wrestler, referee, manager, or anything like that, that's what we're here for. We're here to change their life. And not everybody knows. I talk a little bit of outside of the business too as well, Jordan. I'm not afraid. I am a believer. I'm a born-again Christian. And with Christian National Wrestling Exhibition Alliance, we try to get people to know who the Lord is and completely change their lives from where they were maybe in the gutter to 100%, entertaining fans and changing themselves.
Absolutely. There is one pastor at the show that you introduced me to. I just want to know his name again so he can get that shout out he deserves.
That's Pastor Gary Beal. He is my senior pastor with one of the ministries that I'm involved with, and he's running 3 churches in Winnipeg right now. He works under the church called Redeemed Christian Church of God, Beautiful Gates Church.
Wow, well, it's really great to have faith and religion built on professional wrestling. I think it spreads a great message to the community, and I want to thank you, Weasel, for being such a good person and a good role model to not just Winnipeg, but Canadian wrestling as a whole, and in worldwide wrestling as a whole. So thank you for your contributions.
Well, I try my best to do what I can to help people out.
Alright guys, everybody, that was the Weasel, the manager of champions here, the co-owner of CNWEA. Rob Steele was also on the show 2 weeks ago, and now we got the Weasel on again, so it's great to hear from them. And they're actually one of our newest guys to, alongside co-host Danny Duggan. We have co-hosts Rob Steele and Weasel as they do show previews in the future. So they are on the Jordan Garber Now roster, and once this pandemic is over and more shows come, you're going to hear preview shows straight from their perspectives and straight out of their mouths. So once again, Weasel, I hope you take care and all the best to you and your family at this time.
And yes, do you have 1 minute left, if you don't mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off, Mr. Garber, sir. We're tentatively scheduled for the Park Theater in Winnipeg, February 21st, if this pandemic stuff dies down. So we're hoping that we get the green light. We're going to be talking with the health authorities this week and the next couple of weeks to make sure we respect their guidelines and have everything that is needed to run that show. If they allow us to run at the Park Theater February 21st, it'll be a Sunday afternoon for Jordan Garber.
I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really hoping I get up to that $150 so I can just return to the ring and do what I love. You know, you've provided me an opportunity to do that. I love doing this, but right now I'm doing this right now temporarily until I can gain that weight back. But you know what? Whether I'm going on your show as an announcer, a referee, or we're just doing the preview show together here on the podcast, it's great to contribute. You know, the 2 wrestling promotions, one in America has been the Northern Wrestling Federation, who you heard Sean Evans on earlier this show. But I've enjoyed working with them so much. You know, it's great to work for promotions now, media-wise, but at the same time, you know, I'm get that itch to always get back in there and always be the referee and make those strong and hard-to-make decisions. And I know that I will be back in a CNWEA ring very soon.
Absolutely. You have a spot anytime, Jordan. You're an honorable man. You've earned everything you've done in the business, and anytime you want to be a ring announcer, whatever you want to do, you have a spot with our show. And if we do run February 21st, Jordan, we will still honor our commitment to the Sharp Surgeons Private Needle Cleanup Crew and raise money for them that evening.
And that's what it's all about. You know, I was talking. Ken Dixon is actually on the same show, and he was telling us earlier. Wrestlers and promoters that care about themselves, or wrestlers and promoters that care about the fans and care about the community. And we need to see less of the wrestlers that just care about themselves and hype themselves up over themselves in matches and just care about performing in front of an audience. And every single wrestler on the CNWA roster does that.
Absolutely, Jordan. You're absolutely 100% right about that. And like I said, hopefully some guys from the States will be coming up very, very soon. And we're in negotiations with the Christian Wrestling Federation out of Texas with the promoter Rob Vaughn to sign on board with them as an affiliate in the very near future.
Oh, that's huge. How did that partnership kind of come about?
Well, Rob Steele, as you know, Rob Steele and me aren't best friends. He's my business partner, lives in Edmonton, Alberta. He talks to Rob Vaughn all the time, quite frequently. He knows a lot of people in the business, and he kind of set it up. I knew of Rob Vaughn before the CWF, but Rob Steele talks to him quite frequently, and he says that in the very near future, he would love for us to be an affiliate of the CWF.
Now, one thing actually, since we had a few more minutes to wrap things up, you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to. You know, you proved doubters wrong in Winnipeg wrestling. Now, there's been years before where, you know, people would kind of take some cheap shots at you, including myself. I take full responsibility, a bunch of jerks
But what you did is you proved every single person wrong by running one of the best shows in town. And what was kind of your mindset, a few years back before running this whole thing? Were you so passionate about the business as you are today?
Well, to be quite honest, as you know, I did get out of the business for a while. My longtime common law partner died many years ago, and that's why I did 16 years straight. I've been around the business a little over 20 years, but I did 16 years straight. Got out, my common law wife passed away. She's up in heaven. God bless her. And my mind frame wasn't really at it, so I talked to Wayne, and I finally got out of it for a while, and then no, my mind is 100% committed to the business and to the fans and everything, and I want to give them a great product. And, I see good things to come for CNWEA.
Well, I remember I went after that show, before we wrap things up, I told everyone at work about it, and one of my coworkers came, she bought 2 wrestlers' photos, and then she told the office about it, and then there was hype about the whole company within the office. So that was just me, one person spreading the word. So everybody, please spread the word of the CNWEA, because if you simply spread the word and tell someone to go to the show, you're going to put more butts in seats, especially when this pandemic is over. We're looking for big crowds, and this is a good time to recover and prepare for a fresh restart.
Absolutely, I agree with you, Greg. We need to support independent wrestling. It doesn't matter what company it is in Winnipeg. Support independent wrestling and support the guys out there that are busting their butts off, and as well support the promoters that are working hard to put on a great show.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate their manager of champions. We hope to have you on in February for the preview show of your next event.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time out here. It's a very, very busy schedule, Gordon, and thank you very much for allowing me a few minutes of your time to be on your show, and the pleasure has all been mine.
Coming up next, our main event interview with Ken Dixon here on the Jordan Garber Now podcast.
Hey Jordan Garber Now fans, don't forget to get your Jordan Garber Now merchandise on the Facebook page Jordan Garber Now Podcast. 8x10s are available, cards and stickers, and much more. Check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is another edition of the Jordan Garber Now podcast, and we are here with none other. This guy's one of my favorite guys right now on the independent circuit, none other than Ken Dixon. Ken, how you doing, my man?
I'm well, man. It'd be better if I had a beer, but it's a little early.
I have a kokanee, but I have to wait like 50 minutes, so, we're both going through that same struggle, that's for sure. But, it's funny, Ken, because, last time we did a wrestling show of any relation together was 2 years ago on the Pin the Shoulders podcast, and, man, I remember that interview. It was awesome, so I look forward to another great interview and another great time. When it comes to your career and, the humble beginnings and everything, who are those few guys that kind of gave you a hard time and made the process harder, but you can thank in the end? Who really made you earn your training and begin the process of paying those dues? How did that start kicking in?
That really kicked in for me when I started at the MCW Training Center, and the Bruiser is my coach. He recently passed this past Monday.
Condolences.
He beat the shit out of me, and it was a tough but fair upbringing for me. I had to earn everything that I got from him, but it was one of those things that once you're in, you're in.
It's like a gang almost.
And I appreciate it because it's made me the way that I am now in the business. I have what I have because of what he's taught me.
I think feel like wrestling training is similar to the military. The trainers, they're going to break you down as a man and turn you pretty much into a soldier and a wrestler. And that's what a wrestler is, because it's definitely very hard and to consider doing and going on the road, somewhat times a week. So you always need that test right away. But, working in those early venues, did those help, working those shows at Friday Night Fights, Extreme Measures in Waldorf, Maryland at the Unique Sports Academy? What was that venue like for you? That must have been a good time.
I mean, it was okay. I mean, you're reading off a list now. That we run that venue twice. Like that one, the Friday night deal was only once. Like, so you're, whatever list you're reading off, just throw it out the fucking window. But like, dude, like, so my trial by fire really came, like, those shows were fine, because they're a paying crowd that we already got them in the building. They're already there to see wrestling. The big experience and confidence builder for me in wrestling, we run birthday parties out of our school. Mm-hmm. And so, like, typically the only people that like wrestling is the kids, whoever's its birthday, Sometimes it's their dad because, a lot of people, a lot of dads are marks and they just want to force it on their kids just so they can, they can say it's for their kid, but it's really for them. But like so it's cool. You already got the birthday kid. He's already a fan. What you have to do is get the rest of the family who doesn't give a shit
to be engaged.
You have to impress this group of people who only came because it's, little cousin Jacob's birthday party. It's the only reason they came. So they don't really care about wrestling. But if I can get those people to be interested in what I'm doing, like, that's a winner. And that's to me, that's where you separate, the 40-mile guys that wrestle in their T-shirts and, do all their, flippy nonsense and for nothing versus a real professional wrestler, an entertainer, a worker. Like,
I like how you bring up the flips, and I don't mean to cut you off, Cam, but you're right about that, because like I watch a lot of world class championship wrestling. I watch a lot of Memphis stuff. Like, that's just what I enjoy watching. And when you see a lot of that flippy stuff, it totally takes away the less is more. You can do those flips, but why not just do it once in one big part of the match instead of doing it like in the beginning, in the middle, and then taking it home? It just makes no sense. It's way too much. It's boring.
I mean, they can be good. Wrestling's always been equated to me as the circus, because it usually has something for everybody. If you don't like the strong man, you might like the trapeze. If you don't like that, you might like the lion tamer or the bearded lady. It's, there's something for everybody on most of those shows. So like, there's something to it, and I appreciate it. It's just not my style.
No, I agree.
I don't care for it. Not to say that other people don't, and they're not wrong for it, but it's not for me. I just think that most guys aren't interested in what the crowd wants. They're more interested in, jerking themselves off instead of working for the people. And that's our job. We don't exist without wrestling fans.
It's all about the crowd. Every move is done for the crowd and things like that. And it kind of brings me to my next question, because I remember doing the Northern Deaf Tour, and I worked in front of I refereed in front of crowds. There are 500 people, but I also worked in front of, no, I can't stop saying that. I refereed in front of crowds that had, 20 people, and there's no fan interaction at all, which is kind of like an awkward experience being in pro wrestling, because, it's all about working the crowd. Did you ever have that experience your first few years, and how did you handle it when you had a not-so-hot crowd, and how did you recover?
Well, they're not hot because you're not giving them what they want.
So you pretty much
guys don't ever stop to think that. Like, there's never a dead crowd. The only dead crowd is the one you didn't really give a shit to work for. Like, if you can't, like, that's our job. Like, that's in the fucking, that's it. That's 101. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not one to blow open the doors on the business, because it's just not how I was brought up. I don't want to. Okay. I'm not that guy. Guys don't work they just work for themselves. Like, you never, like, guys don't, nobody goes out and listens. Like, you just want to shove your choreographed Disney garbage because you like it, and because you watched people go nuts for Okada when he did it.
Man, they're not Okada.
It's a different guy. Right, they're not Okada. It's some schlubby fucking fat skinny guy with a t-shirt on, in cheap gear with zero shape. So I don't know. I have a lot of gripes. Got a lot of gripes about wrestling and the way it is right now. Guys don't know why they're doing what they're doing. They're just doing stuff, and they're expecting all this like monster reaction, and they go back and jerk each other off.
And the chemistry and psychology and everything, I feel like guys learn those very important tools. When people do that and focus for themselves, all that's gone, and that's why it's shitty, because there's no psychology or chemistry, and these guys just do whatever the fuck they want, and they just care about them. And you're right. I see a lot of that on the local scene, and I just really enjoy watching a wrestler who cares. cares putting on a good match, cares about the crowd. And at the end of the day, I can watch a 10-minute match without a lot of high-flying stuff, and I could still be very entertained. So a lot of wrestlers are just, I feel like they're missing out on psychology and chemistry and just doing too much of the same shit.
Or high-flying shit, and I'm sure you'd agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a place for it. I don't, I'm not an expert, so I can't say where that place is. But there's a place for it. For athletic guys, that's what they do, and that's what people expect to see from them. But, sometimes guys don't realize that, you're not them. And that, placement and timing means a lot more than people think it does.
So when it comes to working the crowds in Maryland, because you worked, actually, before I get to that, you worked former interviewee Matt Sigmund, who's a great guy. He wrestled here in Winnipeg as he teamed up with Joe Keys, who is also here in the CWE. So the Dixon
Another good buddy of mine. Yeah.
How is that? How did that come to creation? Maybe was that for the show, or was that like a longer sort of deal?
Joe and I came up together. We came up in the same class.
Oh, nice.
So we train together, we ride together, we still train together now. It's a good friend of mine. The Dixon line was, at the time I was working for this guy who's called King McBride, and I was like his chief security. And I needed, I decided I needed some backup. So I went to the training center and I picked up my two buddies, Robbie and Joe Keys. And that's where the Dixon line came from. And when it was time to hit the road, that's just what we took with us.
Can you ever go back in a time in your career where like a promotion brought in a big name and you had a match with them and it just clicked and you were so happy about it?
In the beginning, not so much. There's a lot of bumps in the road for me. I was learning a lot at the time, so like I wouldn't say any of them were like stellar, but as far as none of them were Mac classics. But as far as like experience, I learned so much from working. Like MCW's got a hell of a reputation, so we always had guys coming through, and I was fortunate enough to be put in those positions to work with guys like X-Pac and Billy Gunn. Bob Holly. Leo was in my class too, so we trained together all the time. He's not a fucking name.
No, not to you.
He's just fucking Leo.
We watched
Leo's
tapes
awesome.
together once in Winnipeg. That's the only time I had. We watched like wrestling tapes for like
30 minutes before he got signed.
Yeah,
he's a really nice guy. Loves to learn.
Good kid. Yeah, he's my little brother. He's a good kid. But yeah, like I was given so many opportunities to work with guys on the next level and it helps get us ready for the next level.
It sure does. It actually wants me to put my question as MCW started to do like Future of Honor events, and they started to like team up together like last year and do some shows. So being on a roster like that, like, are you just excited to show the world what you got, or are you kind of feeling a little pressure, or both?
There are times when I feel pressure because Ring of Honor has a standard. But it's not a pressure from being nervous or being unqualified. It's just that I don't wrestle, man. I just beat people up. That's not really that's not my style. If there's any kind of, I don't know how to say it. I like to beat people up, man. I'm not really into all the Stretch Armstrong grappling grappling stuff. I don't know why guys do it. I don't agree with that. I don't get paid by the hour in professional wrestling. You know what I mean?
Get paid by the match.
I get paid by the match, and the sooner I can get done, the sooner I can go back to the hotel and crack a beer and move on, think about the next one.
What is your kind of beer? What's your go-to beer if you have to choose one?
Bush.
Bush is good, man. I love Bush. I have been liking the Blue Ribbon, but I've been into the Kokanee as well. So, I like it all. Who doesn't mind a cold beer?
Yeah.
Coors is good, too.
Love Coors.
Reality of wrestling. Let's go into that quickly. You didn't wrestle there like forever, but you wrestled there once or twice, and Booker T's promotion. Any
Are you
highlights?
Just going off? Did you just look at my YouTube, and are you just pulling stuff off of my YouTube?
Well, actually, what I
is
did
that how you're doing this?
Well, I wrote down the list of promotions you wrestled for and a few key points. So you might think I'm on Cage Match, but what I did is I wrote down like 10 solid points, and I'm just referring off of them. But it's impressive because these are all major promotions here in the East Coast. So,
well, Reality Wrestling is in Texas.
Oh, not
that's Booker T's promotion.
what was the road trip like? Let's talk about the road trip, because you're not into like you're into crowds and kicking ass, but like when it comes on the road and having Bush on the road, you know, driving to a far place.
I don't
like
drink and drive.
Well, if you're in the passenger seat, if you're a navigator.
Nah, I just I don't really do that. That's a business. That's a business thing. I don't drink and drive.
Oh no, I understand. I was
But no, the road trips are fun if you got a good crew. I was traveling down there with Joe Keys and I were going to Houston, and we stopped in Atlanta to pick somebody up. And when we got to Atlanta, the people we were picking up didn't feel like driving. So the first 12 hours of the trip, and then we had to make the next 12 hours of the trip to Houston. You know, so that's how it started. We did our business. I think we did okay. It was a fun trip. We got to work with new guys. We got to meet people, just experience a new market. The drive back was the same. You know, people that rode with us didn't want to participate, and they ended up not really giving us any money for gas. And, you know, I was just never riding the car with them again. But it was a fun experience because now I got a good story to tell about fucking shitty people that, you know. So lesson to be learned here for anybody that might be listening is that your crew is very important. People that you share a car with are very important because they're going to make or break the quality of the trip.
Definitely. I miss being on the road. You know, it's just one of the things about wrestling which is part of paying dues. And I remember this 15-day tour we did, and like every single, I'm 145 pounds. I'm out of the ring right now because I'm too small. But I remember just every day grind, go to the venue, set up the ring, done. And then when you didn't think you could do any more of it, you still do it. And that's the part of wrestling where it kind of gets to you is like, you think you're done. You're done setting up the ring. You've done it 14 days in a row previously. And you think you just can't do it. And then you just keep doing it. That's what it's about. And I really value such an opportunity about paying dues like that because I'm sure you'd agree. You never stop paying dues in the wrestling industry.
Never. I mean, you might elevate to a different level, but you're never done. It's our responsibility to bring the next guy up. Just as we know with any other job, we have to train the future. It's our job to bring up the next guy.
Pass the torch.
So if I'm not paying the dues myself, I'm teaching others to do it.
Now, when it comes to the coronavirus and obviously how it's affected independent wrestling and everything, when everything is back and set into stone and fans are allowed to interact and buy sodas and eat popcorn and watch the shows again, what's one thing you think the business should change on the independent side after this pandemic?
Man, I don't know, man. I've worked on a couple of shows during the pandemic that were pretty cool as far as social distancing and you know, masks and all that shit and the safety of the guys in the locker room. I don't know, man. I was like, obviously, there's always going to be good shows and bad shows. I can't name anything off the top of my head that I would like to see change in wrestling, except for, you know, the quality of wrestling. You know, guys should take this opportunity to get in shape. You know, maybe really reset the stories that they tell and how they present the product. You know, maybe I don't know, maybe promoters can just stop being so fucking greedy and just, you know, see that they can make more money working together. I don't think there needs to be a show every 8 miles, you know, in Tennessee.
No, I agree.
New Jersey or Ohio or any of that kind of stuff. I think it's kind of detrimental to the business. But, you know, it is what it is. I'll take their money.
You take their money, you take their booking. I feel like it's always compete instead of like work together and have one large great product.
It can be. That's kind of why, like, I try to limit myself to where I work, because I feel that it makes things more valuable as an individual. You know, you can get somebody that sees the bigger picture. I don't think guys value their brand very much. They just hoard themselves out and, you know, work wherever they can. I definitely feel like there's investments for guys to make. Like when I work in Maryland, I only work at MCW. When I work in Virginia, I only work at Vanguard Championship Wrestling because that's a quality place that I choose to work. The same could be said for most states. When I'm in New Jersey, I really only like to work for WrestlePro. I like to align myself with quality promotions and promotions I know that are going to get me the exposure that I want to get. And that's not to say that when guys break in that they shouldn't work everywhere and anywhere. But I'm kind of getting to that point in my career where I'm going to pick and choose because it's just going to be the better rep for me.
And the better pay, too.
Yeah, I mean, that comes eventually, but I want good reps with people I can trust. There's nothing worse than getting to a venue and meeting the guy you're going to work with, and he's
you don't trust each other.
He's not in shape. He's just there's no trust.
That's an important thing too. Is like when it comes to wrestling, like that's someone's body. Like their body is in your hands, and like you gotta be responsible. And like if you're my size, guys, listeners, if you're my size, don't step into a wrestling ring. Train, like do the work. Like I made mistakes before as like a referee and everything, but I was asked in an emergency circumstance. Like I'm still working hard and everything, but like I'm just saying in general, if you're my size and you're $140, 5'11", keep training. You're not gonna be able to get in there right now. It's not easy, and it hurts like hell, and I felt it firsthand. So I'm sure you agree with that. Just look good. I just want to see more people in the ring that look the part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's not to say everybody has to look the same. Guys should be able to perform. And it shouldn't be so far out of belief.
You know what bothers me about Winnipeg? Like I don't know if this is exclusively in your area, but this is like a Winnipeg thing. We have people here that train, and then they cry that the training's too hard, and then they're actually put on shows. It's so bad. They won't finish the training, and then they'll be put on other shows, and then that's their career. They'll have a 10-year run. There's a lot of Winnipeg guys like that. I don't like that.
So those guys weed themselves out. Those guys weed themselves out, and those promoters tend to, dry up after a while because fans will stop coming. I don't know. Guys don't take themselves seriously. How are fans supposed to take them serious?
Oh, exactly. If I bought a ticket, I'm not gonna buy a ticket to look out my window and watch the stranger down the street perform. I'm paying to see a trained professional. So.
Agreed. I don't want to watch my neighbor do anything.
No, neither do I.
But Ken, you've been absolutely great.
I really enjoyed the conversation. For our fans listening from all around the world, do you have any plugs where people can check you out, even watch some of your matches, so they can be entertained during this tough time?
I mean, you can just throw Ken Dixon into YouTube. It'll pop up. I got a lot of stuff floating around here and there. Twitter, @the_Ken Dixon. You can find me there on Twitter, Instagram as well. Yeah, I'm pretty big on social media. I like to, I speak my mind. I don't really care. So I say what I have to say. Most people don't really care for it. So.
Hey, well, I'll definitely be tuning into that because I you know what I appreciate? People that are just straight up and don't in a good way, don't give a fuck. Like you're straight up, you don't give a fuck. You do what you do your job. You get paid and you drink your beer, and I can't respect that. I wish there's more wrestlers like you for me to look up to and kind of shadow after and kind of become, because people like you set a good example for our industry, and I can't thank you enough for everything you've given.
Cool, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Ken Dixon, everybody, on the Jordan Garber Now podcast.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Jordan Garber Now Hard Times. You guys listened to some great interviews with Sean Evans, Jack Phoenix, Louis Dangerously, Steve Barber, Martez Ale, the return of Prince Nana, and Ken Dixon. You guys can listen to us every single Friday on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. For myself, Jordan Garber, and the Jordan Garber Now podcast, please stay safe out there and continue to listen every single Friday at 5 p.m. Central, and also for some giveaways too. Take care.